Hey everybody, I'm Greg Bosson, CPA and president of QuickBooks Made Easy for Nonprofits, coming at you with the quick tip for the end of February 2025. We try and do these tips twice a month. And this tip is specifically about when you're recording expenses from bank feeds, please make sure to put the name of the vendor when you are doing this. And then I've got another kind of mini tip inside of it. But first, let me just give you the main point. So let's say you're looking at a profit and loss. Okay, I'm going to show you the problem here. And we'll just go to a particular account. Let's do dues and subscriptions. And you're like, oh, I wonder what makes that up. And then so you click on it. And you'll get a report that'll give you a list of the transactions that make it up. That's been around for years. But I'll get clients that'll call me and they're like, well, I don't understand why there's nothing in the name field. All right. By the way, I'm going to switch over to classic view here. All right. And they're like, you can kind of figure out who you paid from the memo if you downloaded it from a bank feed because the memo comes down, but there's no name here. Furthermore, it won't show on vendor reports under the name of that vendor because there's really no name associated with these. So I'm going to click on this last one. You can see the name is here, Prime Video, and I'm going to click on the last one. And when this was downloaded and put into QuickBooks from the bank feed, the person made sure to put the name of the vendor, all right? Whereas for, let's say, this Gravity Fitness one here, I'm going to click on this one. And understand, this is a transaction that came down from the bank feed. You see how the payee field is blank? Now, the description field has the name of the vendor, but you really kind of want it in the payee field. And because it's not in the payee field, that's why the names don't appear here. All right? And so how does this problem occur? Well, it occurs when you're in the bank feeds. Again, this is a problem that I've seen with clients that are adding expenses from debit cards, credit cards from the bank feeds, and they don't fill in the payee field. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go to categorize. Let's see if we can find the one that I entered recently. There we go. All right, so I'm going to undo this one to Gravity Fitness. You can just click undo, and then I'm going to go back to the ones for review, and then we should see Gravity Fitness in here again. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, the description. It'll be G for Gravity. I can organize these by name, by the way, which is kind of cool. But actually, look at that. I can even do a search. Whoops. Gravity. Just trying to find the one from Gravity. There we go. Okay. So here's two of them, actually. And what happens is it'll come down here, and you'll be like, okay, well, yeah, it's Gravity Fitness, and then dues and subscriptions, so you'll just click add it. Well, if you do that, you're not adding the payee name. You see, this is a description field, okay? So if I click add, and then I go to the transaction in QuickBooks, that's why there's no vendor name there, which is why there's no vendor name here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to do this different. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and X out of this. And I'm going to undo this again. It takes it out of QuickBooks, puts it back into the bank feeds where the basically is the holding tank for all of your transactions. Let me go ahead and click on this one there. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, this is what I want you to do. I want you to click here to open up what's called the tray. Make sure you put something here. Now, to determine what to put, you can go down to the memo. Oh, it's Gravity Fitness. And there's even a little hyperlink here where instead of typing it, they're like, did you want to add this? So I can click on that to add it and then click Save. That was easy. And now it's there. So now I'm going to click Add. And now Gravity Fitness will appear. This one, we can go ahead and click on this one here. And look, they've already added it for us, because it kind of looked at what we did last time. Okay, so now when I go back to the transaction report, I'll go ahead and refresh this one or just click run. And now look at that. Now we've got the names there. Okay, so that's the tip. I want to make sure you put the names there. Now there's one more little mini tip. You're really going to love me about this. So I'm going to go back to the bank feeds here. Let's just go to all of them. Oh, I got to get rid of the search criteria here. All right, so there we got all of them. So restaurants, okay? So this is a credit card, and I go to restaurants when I'm out of town all the time. I love eating, okay? So here's one, La Grata restaurant. Here's another one, La Petite Maison. We'll act like this is a restaurant as well. So all of these are restaurants, but I'm probably never going to go there again because these were restaurants I went to when I was out of town. So I don't know that I want to add their names to the vendor list. I mean, I've got the name is going to be in the memo field because this is the memo or description field right here. But do I really want to have new names for each restaurant? Probably not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to go up to the payee field, and I'm going to add a new one. And I'm going to call this out. Well, you know what I'll do? I'll call it restaurants out of town. Okay? And then I'm going to click save. So now I've got restaurants out of town as a vendor. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that one with that being the name of the vendor. Okay? I forgot to put a class. Let me put a class here. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with these other ones. So I'll click on this one. I'm just going to pick restaurants out of town. There we are, restaurants out of town. And I got to put a class and click add. So this is just a little tip so you don't clutter up the vendor list with a bunch of restaurants that you go to that are actually out of town and you're never going to go to them again. We don't necessarily want to clutter up the list with these things. Again, we know the restaurant because it's in the memo field. Okay. So I think all of those went to travel, if I'm not mistaken. So let me go back to my P&L, and let's run the P&L. Let's look at travel. I think it was in here. Was it per diem? I can't remember. But anyway, I think it was somewhere in travel. But I'm going to double-click on it to see what the names are. It's going to pull up my little report. There we go. All right. So see, we have the names of the restaurants in the line description, but the vendors are only restaurants out of town. Okay. So I think that's everything. I hope that you enjoyed the tip. And nothing special to tell you about that's coming up. I mean, we have our complete three-day training that's coming up in May, but I guess I would just suggest looking at our website, looking around. Here's our tech support right here. If you haven't signed up for tech support, you can get 24-hour tech support. You can call us. We can set up Zoom meetings. I can even be the one to help you. There's only 4 of us that do it. So we're all accountants that know QuickBooks. So anyway, I think that's it. Enjoy what's left of February, and talk to you later.